Welcome back, man. Episode 110 with Brick Shots and Billy Antonio. Antonio's not going to be here. He's on FX. Chris is missing for doing something else that's more important. And Matt's actually here for this one. I think now that Antonio was gone, Matt was like, all right, the Whites are doing it. Let's sign up.
Hey, check the comments. Billy asked who's going to come on the pod. I don't know who commented, but he said, what are the topics about? And I said racism. Antonio's gone. I'm in.
We'll just flip the script on the races in our racist rants today.
Yeah.
Matt, you doing okay? Putting people in the Navy, huh?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain.
All right. So this is going to be a pretty slow week. As much as we talked about women's basketball in the last episode, I think this one will be a little shorter. Matt didn't catch the game. Did you catch the Final Four game with UConn and Iowa?
No.
Did you get USC, UConn, or USC? No, what was the other game? Oh, South Carolina. They played before Iowa. Never
You're
mind.
talking about the women's basketball, right?
Yeah.
I think I caught a little bit of that, but I've just been working so much, and they play directly like my last few hours of work or me driving, so I have not been able to watch anything, and I'm severely depressed from it, and I may have to see somebody.
So did you want to watch women's basketball this year?
No. I wanted to watch Caitlin Clark.
Okay. So let's get into that. Even though Matt missed the game, there were still 18 million or 18.7 million people watched the final national championship of the women's game. Just so you know, Matt, I'll give you a little breakdown of it. Caitlin Clark started on fire. She scored 18 points or 21 points in the first quarter. She was just lights fucking out. It was amazing. It was so cool to watch. Being an Iowa fan now, I don't know if you missed that rant that I had last week, but being an Iowa fan now, I think it was so crazy. We just all got up so high and we're just so excited about what was about to happen. If Caitlin Clark could get the W, she was going to be the GOAT because she finally got her ring and all this other stuff. And it ended up not happening. I think South Carolina, the way Dawn Staley used the bench, she was putting in these freshmen, dude, and they were on a rotation and they were not scared of Caitlin Clark. I haven't seen it in the men's game as much. They had a defender, Raven Johnson. When she was on Caitlin Clark, she was putting her hand, and I mean in her face, the whole time, so she couldn't see the floor either. And it sounds like a minuscule thing. What's up?
They were watching Jordan and Kobe tape.
Bingo.
Just block out your vision.
Yeah, dude. And it fucked with her. You could see it was fucking with her. But they just did a phenomenal job. Every time Iowa would go back on a run and they would get they'd tie it up or they'd get close. Iowa went up by 2 at one point, later on in the game. And there was another freshman, and I feel bad because I don't remember her name. There was another freshman for South Carolina. She was just knocking threes down like she was Steph Curry. It was bonkers to watch. Any run Iowa would get, she'd just fucking bank this three. All the Iowa fans would shut up and just be like, fuck. And even me watching at home, I'm taking a drink, and I'm like, fuck. This is what's going to fucking happen. God damn it. Here it is. Cardozo, I can't tell you her first name. She's a 6'7" center for South Carolina. She was out there just
Is she the bigger lady, or is that I'm thinking of a different team?
She's not big. She's just tall as fuck.
Oh, I'm thinking the girl who went viral during the tournament, who's just this bulldozer of a girl, just the biggest girl on the court.
Oh, from Iowa State?
Iowa State, yeah. Similar to South Carolina.
Yeah.
North Carolina.
She had a great run too. Sorry, don't remember her name. Sorry, John. But no, I think it finally caught up to Caitlin Clark to just not saying that anybody on Iowa isn't very good, but I don't think they were good enough to compete with South Carolina. Caitlin just kind of drugged them there and was like, hey, this is what we're going to do. In the end, Iowa just didn't have the players, and South Carolina did. That's their back-to-back national title. They went undefeated. That was the first time since 2016 when UConn did it, an undefeated season and a national championship to crown it off. Nothing to add, Matt?
No, I wasn't able to.
Okay.
Watch.
Sorry. So The men's, which I didn't watch a single fucking second of the tournament. I didn't see anything from the men's. I didn't care.
I know from the final game, the championship game,
Yeah.
a similar tactic to Edey. I heard the first half he went off, and then the second half they're like, all right, everything you were just doing, we're not allowing it anymore. So they didn't allow them to have a second half adjustment and come out like strong against them. They just let him do his thing in the first half, and they're like, all right, now we're just gonna take him out of the game, and we're gonna win.
So
cliff notes of that game.
So let me raise a question. Do you think that that's a bad look because that means in the next level for Zach Edey and for even a Caitlin Clark, where it's like, okay, once we figure you out, you're not going to be able to do anything. And I think that's the thing that's kind of hindering Zach Edey. I don't even know if he'll be a late round, first round pick, right? He's not going to be a top guy. And he's a 2-time National Player of the Year.
Yeah.
I
don't think it hinders them because, again, it is college basketball. Like NBA, if you take out LeBron, you take out Anthony Edwards, you take out another like a top player on that team, everyone else on that team is liable to go off. Like I said in the group chat like the other day, some dude I've never even heard of on the Pistons scored 50 points. That dude just came from fucking Pep Boys and was like, fuck it, we ball. That's basically what he said. Like college is not that way. Like no one else on that team is going to take over because all year they're like, we're relying on this guy. But then if they throw 3 people at him, like, what do you expect him to do? Like, he's going to pass the ball out, and if you miss your shots, like, that's not on him.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch the game to see if it was actually on him, but, like, just from hearing about it, someone else has to step up in those situations.
Someone has to spot you 20, right? Like, you're the backup person has to give you 20. Like, they got to give you something going on, right? But I will say for the men's side of it, like I said, the women's got 18.7 million. And the men's got 14.8 million viewers, which I thought was a lot higher than I was thinking it was going to be. But do you think it's a one and done issue? We kind of covered this on the last show, but do you think it's a one and done issue, or is it a dominance by UConn? They didn't have the closest game they had in the tournament was 12 points. I mean,
yeah, I think it's a little bit of UConn. They won last year, favorites again this year. But I think it's a little bit of like Purdue isn't a big market. UConn's not a big market. Neither of them have like this fucking crazy next generational player. There's no one close to Caitlin Clark, right? Everyone's been talking about Caitlin Clark, the last 2 years, 3 years, right? Yeah. More than any other men's college basketball player because,
since Zion, right?
Yeah. So that's what everyone's talking about. They're like, oh, this championship team, of an actual like what a team should look like, and then this 7'4" player who's 2-time national player, but he's not like this huge fanfare. He's not Wemby. He's not out here hitting half court shots. He's not dribbling between the legs. He's just a big man. So it's not like anything. Everyone's going to have to tune in like this is the next guy. It's like no, he's good enough against college players, basically.
Well, I think what bodes well for Edey, right? Looking at like his just numbers, it's nothing that pops off, but he's 7'4" and he's 300 pounds. So he's not just a skinny fucking postman. Like he's big enough to bang where he needs to bang, and he might not. The last time we saw it was maybe a Greg Oden, who was I think 7'1", and he was pretty fucking big.
Yeah.
But maybe Edey can fucking have something, right? Like where he falls, especially if he falls to a good team who has better shooters. Like if he goes to Golden State, and this is kind of what we were saying about Wiseman a couple years ago, right? Where like, hey, someone to bang in the fucking post with all these fucking shooters, that's going to be what you need to do. That's it.
But then,
excuse me.
Other side of that coin, that also kind of hindered Wiseman's development. Other than injuries, it was like, well, fuck, they're shooting all their shit and it's going in. I'm not getting these reps at doing my job down here. I'm just kind of running the floor. So,
but let's go from one college state. We'll go to the next one. John Calipari is leaving Kentucky, Matt. He's going to Fayetteville to be the Razorbacks head coach. How did you feel when you first saw the news?
When I first saw it, I just thought he's running because Kentucky, one of the blue bloods, like you get all this NBA talent. You get fucking just about everybody goes to Kentucky or Duke. or name another blue blood, college, right? NBA talent is constantly just getting pipelined to you, and you haven't done shit in 12 years. You've been bounced, the first round in the last 4 tournaments? It's a wild number for Kentucky. Like,
Sure,
one
yeah.
and done. You should not happen when you have consistently
Even
3 or
around the
4
32,
NBA
like that's an upset for Kentucky. Like not.
Yeah, you should at least win your first 2 games.
Yeah.
Like, you have a roster full of NBA talent or G League talent where you're lucky if another team has a G League guy on their team. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like when I first saw it, I thought, oh, he's running. He can't take, because now the media and the internet is finally like, oh, this guy's a fraud. This guy's a fraud. Like, I've been seeing on the internet where in the past, like, Calipari, one of the best coaches, but you can only say that so long. Yeah, you won in the past, but you haven't done shit. You've been living off that check you cashed 12 years ago.
Well, okay. I mean, yeah, no, that's a really great point. But I will say, I don't know if he's necessarily running, because I think the way college basketball is going, like you just said, we literally just talked about UConn, and they had a 2-year stretch of being the favorite. I don't think Kentucky's been the favorite to win a national championship since Calipari's got there, because of the way, and Coach Krzyzewski even did it with Duke. Like, the one and done is hard to deal with, I think, as a head coach, especially in basketball. There's like, what chemistry do I have where 3 of these guys are leaving?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not going to be there. Like it's even during the school year where they're, hey, I got to get out of here. Like, it's not even like, hey, let's get some chemistry together. Let's get some fucking off-season program. Nothing. It's, we have to play this season, and they do really well in the regular season. But I do think the one and done aspect of it is like, hey, I'm fucking weeks away from declaring from the draft. Like, I could give a fuck about winning a national championship for Kentucky. Where now that he's in Arkansas, maybe he can get a nucleus. Because let's say he goes and wins the SEC at Arkansas. I don't think you can call him a fraud, because of, I think it's harder than we think. And then look at Villanova. They won 2 national championships also. Butler was there all the time. You have your one-off, your Dukes, right? You have your Michigan States winning some of these national championships. It's like, it's hard, I think, for these one and done, especially blue bloods. What's up?
Michigan's got a couple asterisks.
Yeah, Juwan Howard. Okay, you know what, man? Let's fucking change to Michigan's hoops. I saw on Tall and Taller on Hunter. Shout out Hunter Purr on a couple of his podcasts. Him and because I got into it and I was like, I think Juwan's doing okay. It's just I wonder what went wrong in Michigan. Matt, maybe you can expand on that a little bit.
I don't really know. I couldn't really pinpoint it, but I feel like it's just you're not winning enough, and there's too much off the court stuff, from him slapping people to like reports.
Wasn't that 2 years ago, though, Matt? Wasn't that a long time ago?
Yeah, no, it was. But there was reports this year he was getting in arguments and stuff. I don't really know the details. So I was like, fucking typical Juwan Howard at this point. Like,
okay,
him getting arguments or him doing this, him doing that. Like, yeah, we love him as like an alum. Like, it was awesome. As soon as he got here, our team got a little bit better. Like, it was great.
Went to the Final Four. Did y'all not go? Y'all went to the Final Four, right?
I believe so, or at least the Sweet 16.
Okay.
Or Elite 8. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't know Final Four, but
the Trey Burke team went to the Final Four, right?
Yeah, that's our de facto asterisk national championship, because Louisville lost it, or they got it stripped.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
That's fucking dumb. Hold on. Are you taking credit for that, Matt?
Yeah, it was a great year. I loved, that was the most college basketball I ever watched, when Trey Burke was at Michigan. Just it was like Allen Iverson playing college basketball. That shit was awesome.
Okay, Allen Iverson, sure.
Hey, I didn't say he was at Allen Iverson. He said he looked like it playing college basketball.
Okay, yeah. Whatever makes.
If he was Allen Iverson, we'd still be talking about him to this day. NBA was.
Oh yeah, no, I mean definitely. No, but Cal leaving. I think that's the thing, is if he does well in the tournament with Arkansas, I think it's showing more of Kentucky's true colors of like, it's hard to fucking do that. Like, it's like that. I think that's why Phil Jackson, like taking it to the NBA, like I think that's why Phil Jackson gets so much credit, and Pat Riley, to throw it all together, because they're taking all of that and they're producing with it. Whereas John Calipari, I don't know if he's on that level, because he's not producing with all that talent. Like you said, this literally streamlined pipeline to the NBA is Kentucky.
But I feel like on the other side of the coin is that who is overall in charge of recruiting for that team? Him. Like, yeah, you could obviously you're gonna want to get all the best players you can, but why you don't have to be greedy. You could get the 2 best players in high school basketball and then get these guys who really want to go to that school, really build the culture so they are there for 2-3 years, and then it's just 2 guys like they can like bring them in, be like, hey man, you're a fucking stud. You're going to the NBA, probably like I'm not going, but you're going. But we're good enough here. We just need you to fucking dunk on some people, be the intimidator, be the Zion, if you will. Just like get the fuck out of his way. He's fucking coming. Like you just need that guy.
But I don't think you go to Kentucky to do that. I think you go to Kentucky to go to the NBA. You go to Duke to go to the NBA.
Yes, but it's not the high school player who's making that decision. It's Kentucky who's like, oh yeah, we're gonna take you. But obviously, yeah, you're gonna want all the best players. But at the same time, like, is it working for building a team? Like, you're going from Kentucky to Arkansas, 2 major schools where you have all the resources. Like, is it really gonna change much? Like some of those players that he was recruiting this year, like, oh, I'm gonna follow Coach Cal. I'm gonna go to Arkansas, right? So now it's basically he's gonna have the same recruits there. What's gonna be the difference?
I think okay. So I'm you said the perfect.
And it's
question.
Kentucky, Arkansas. No one wants to go to those states for anything else.
So
like, it's not like they're going to USC for the beach.
But like you said, right? It's those kids from, like you said, for Kentucky. Like, why is he not recruiting those guys who want to stick around for 2 to 3 years to build that culture? I think in Arkansas, you have it to where Calipari could be like, hey, we can get you to the NBA, but let's do a 2-3 year stint and then you go. And I can build this here, as opposed to a Kentucky where it's like, I'm here to fucking go to the NBA. And I think an Arkansas kid or a kid recruited to Arkansas would be like, yeah, let's make Arkansas relevant. Now, would he bounce after Arkansas? Hypotheticals, right? If Arkansas goes and if he wins the title in Arkansas in 4 years, and now is Arkansas going to be a one and done, and he's going to be like, fuck this, I'm going to Nova.
But I mean, if you're the head coach, you're the man who's building the culture, recruiting. Like, you could do that at Kentucky, but I see what you're saying is like it's going to be a different thing. But then eventually, if they do win, then oh shit, 12 years later, now all these guys from Arkansas are just going to the NBA, and he's just like, "The fuck did I do again?" Like, it's at the end of the day, it's on him recruiting and building the culture and making it so students want to stay there. Be like, oh, we're building to something like whatever it may be. We get all these top recruits every once in a while, but we have this core of 3-star guys who are really good. They just need this development, this strength and conditioning coach, or the right fit. Whereas like Kentucky, like you have all the resources to get any player you want, but should you take all the money on the counter, or should you take some and leave? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like what you're saying, and I do understand what you're saying. We move the NBA real quick. Well, I'm just gonna throw the 2 topics out there, and then we'll go ahead and talk about it. Giannis is out for the regular season, is what I saw for his calf, reported by ESPN.com. Giannis out for the regular season. Do you think that hurts the Bucks' chance? And then Draymond got ejected 4 minutes into his comeback tour, and me and Antonio have talked about Draymond 100 times, but let's go ahead with your Giannis answer, Matt.
Obviously, it hurts the Bucks' chances to not have the best player on your team, one of the best players in the world who can just pretty much do anything, play defense on anyone, shoot the ball from anywhere, score the ball from anywhere. Like Giannis basically does a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Obviously, it hurts, but I don't really know if it's the player's fault in Milwaukee. I feel like it's the ownership. They're like, this guy fucking sucks, firing him. We're going to fire the guy who won Coach of the Year 2 years ago. I feel like it's just all this outside shit that should have been unnecessary. Like, was it Tibbs was the Bucks coach? Who was the Bucks coach? That got fired. He won the Coach of the Year and got fired, and then.
Sorry, John. No, he won a chip and then got fired 2 years later. Dwayne Casey won it for, or not Dwayne Casey, Nick Nurse for Toronto won it after. So he won a title, Then he won Coach of the Year. Then he got fired.
Yeah, but it wasn't Nick Nurse.
That was Nick Nurse for Toronto, right?
No. For
the
Milwaukee.
Bucks. Terry Scott? No, that's Portland.
I feel like he looks like Tibbs. I feel like I've called him Tibbs 14 times in this show.
Sorry, John. One more time.
Right. Whoever it was, that guy shouldn't have been fired. Giannis was like, he shouldn't have been fired. The team was like, he shouldn't have been fired. And then they get this guy who comes into a team, they're already disgruntled. And,
he does a great job.
Yeah, he does a great job. And then they fire him 14 games or whatever it was into this season because they didn't go undefeated or whatever their excuse is. And they're like, hey, Doc Rivers is working at TNT or wherever. He's available. Instead of just taking your other bench coach who's already been on the team, you're just fucking, all right, now we got this whole new system. We got all this new stuff, and we're going to learn it on the fly. And now,
do you think it buys having Giannis out for the regular season? If they go to the playoffs, lose in the first round, you think that buys Doc another year in Milwaukee?
I feel like that's the course of his career. That's like if you were to like you bought a book of Doc Rivers and flipped on the back, like that's the description. He did just enough to buy himself some more years, and everyone's like, "This guy's good. If we just give him these resources, he's one of the best." But then he's yet to prove it.
He's won one championship. He won it in 2008.
He's Calipari of the NBA. Name a season where he didn't have a fucking superstar on his team.
Yeah. Those Clipper teams were real good, dude.
You better watch your head top because they're coming over your fucking head, dude. They're jumping over Kias.
And was I the only guy not impressed by that dunk? I just didn't really give a fuck. Like, is that bad?
I thought it was cool, but it was like, of course you can jump over it. Like,
yeah, the aesthetics are cool, but I'm like, if I'm watching, I'm like,
the hoop's 10 feet tall, the car's 4 foot tall. Like, of course he can fucking jump that. Like, jump the mascot on the hoverboard. That was cool.
That was also really cool.
Yeah.
But my thing is, like, keep your feet straight and jump over it. Like, you still have to kick your legs.
Or, like, dip your feet in the sunroof and then pull them out while you're midair.
Oh, that'd have been fun. Because I seen Kobe jump a whole car while it was coming at him. So I don't, you know what I'm saying?
He jumped over a pool of snakes.
He did do that. Was scary. Was that not scary? Like
that was. I thought my man was gonna die right then.
Dude, if something that it would have been like Macho Man Randy Savage when the fucking snake was biting. Oh my god. All right. So what about Draymond?
Wait, what up, dude? Draymond is just. He needs to talk to Dana White and just fucking take his anger out somewhere. Like, what the fuck is he doing? Like. I feel like at some point, like the refs are like, okay, yeah, maybe we are singling him out. But then he's like, no, he's just fucking just doing this on his own. It's not the refs like, you're out of here. It's just, I don't know. I feel like he's just trying to get a free paycheck and do his podcast more, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good, I mean, fuck, dude, if that's what you're doing.
Hey, I can't play if I keep getting fouled out or kicked out of the game. You got to still pay me, though. I started the game.
Yeah. Me and Antonio, we've been on this for, I think, years at this point now. And Draymond is the only one who's, let's say, strong-willed enough to be like, hey, fuck you. Like, Steph Curry's not going to tell someone, hey, fuck you. I'll fucking murder your children. But Draymond is going to be like, I'll fucking murder your children. I don't care. I fucking, like, that's, it's like, that's the whole argument. Like, is Draymond a Hall of Famer? And it's like, the answer is yes. The short answer is yes.
Who's going to tell him no?
What's that?
Who's going to tell him no?
That's what I'm saying. He's going to fucking fight you. He's going to
Draymond, you didn't make it. And he's like, looking for the rest. Wow.
But it's like he needs to be that guy for that team. He needs someone. It can't be all flash, right? It needs to have some kind of merit to. We're also strong. We're not going to put up with you bullying us, right? And it's like Draymond's not going to stand for that, and that's just. I think that's where.
But at the same point, I don't know who said it for the Houston Rockets, but they were like, Dylan Brooks, like, stop getting kicked out of games. We need that physicality on the court, not fucking off the court, yapping in the fucking locker room. Like, it only works until you're not in the game anymore. Then you got to know when to draw it back and, be strong-willed enough to control your emotions. Like, if you want to stand up for your teammates, but like, this is the NBA. You're not in a fucking street fight. You're not like, no one's actually gonna hurt someone. Maybe 2 or 3 years ago, John Morant's crew, maybe not anymore, but
maybe allegedly.
Allegedly.
All right, Matt. So let's move on to Major League Baseball. Let's knock some storylines out of the way. Shohei has been proven to be innocent, as reported by Bleacher Report. This is a weird story, man. How are you viewing it?
One, I just want to know like who was doing this investigation, because which feds are investigating him. But I mean, it is kind of weird, like how a bookie gave a guy who makes like $150,000 a year a $4.5 million credit line. Like, he had to have been way up, or just like, oh, I'm good for it. I work for this guy. I can get you the money. Like, I don't know. It's just a strange thing, but I feel like overall Shohei is a good dude. Like, he doesn't speak English, so we don't really know exactly what his personality's like, but just seeing him in the dugout, like having fun and like fucking pranking other people. He seems like a fun dude, and it's kind of hard to hate him. And I feel like this story is almost just like a way to try to get people to hate him. I don't know, but it's not really working, I don't think.
So I wonder, like, because a bookie, like, if you think about a bookie, right, like, because it's not a legal gambling service, bookies are going to be your kind of, I don't want to say scum, because they're not, I guess, but they're doing legal gambling.
Shady shit. It's not DraftKings. It's not some guy, a representative from DraftKings, like, oh yeah, we'll give you 4.5. No, it's some dude in Japan sleeved out working for the Cusco or whatever the fucking Japanese mob is. Yakuza.
Yeah. But it's like, that's what I'm saying though. It's like it's just this guy. Like I like that you brought up, like, well, how the fuck is this random dude who makes whatever being a translator, which he's getting paid a fuck ton probably for being a translator. I think it's a little more than 150 a year. Yeah. That's just me.
I'm assuming there's like benefits and everything. So
right, and I do wonder if, like, because that has to be someone Shohei trusts. It's not like it's just some guy. They were like, hey, he speaks Japanese.
Yeah, it's the only guy you can talk to on the team unless there's other Japanese players. Like, he's got to talk to that guy, so you gotta like the guy.
That's what I'm saying is, like, I do think like the guy was probably like, yeah, Shohei's he just trusts me. I got it. Don't even worry about it. To whoever the fucking bookie was, and the bookie's probably like, oh shit, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, the guy's not dead, number one. So, he paid whatever he had to pay.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, he paid it with Shohei's bank account.
That's what I'm saying. So, it has to be, because it's like, dude, like, even us doing the show, right? Tonio has the fucking thing to my YouTube, so he's able to do some stuff. I'm not saying, like, he's scheming off of me or stealing from me, right? But, like, he could, essentially, right? Like,
he could unsubscribe you from your favorite YouTubers.
Yes, which would be atrocious, right?
Like, how worse than taking your money.
How am I going to watch Impulsive if Tonio's just being a dick about it, But it's like on that little, and that's like a small scale. Imagine like this guy is the only way I have to communicate with these other people. Like your agent, like, is his agent Japanese? Probably not. His agent's probably a fucking American. So this guy is doing these deals with him where he's like,
Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder is his agent.
I don't know. I don't know if I go that far, but yeah, it's like essentially the same, right? Like, where it's like, all right, this is the guy that I trust more than fucking anybody.
Yeah.
Let's fucking see what he can do for me, right? But I do think it's funny that you talked about the conspiracy of like, is this a way to get people to hate him? Because he's also on the Dodgers. That's easy to just fucking hate right there. So why is that not the thing they're doing?
Like, the Dodgers is like the biggest super team of players who aren't assholes or dickheads that we should hate. Like Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman living that hug life. One of the best ESPN commercials of all time. He's just a known nice guy. Everyone likes him. He wears long sleeves in the sun so he doesn't get skin cancer. He does all this stuff. He's a super cool dude. And then Shohei, he's pranking people. Yeah, he got $1 billion. People might not like him for that. But like, other than that, he's a great dude. He's great at baseball. Mookie Betts. He does fucking everything. How are you going to hate a superstar who like plays right field, Gold Glover for 10 years? Like, yeah, I'll play shortstop.
I got it. The hardest position on the field. He's like, I got it. Don't worry about it. Like,
yeah, like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, this is just crazy.
And then you got Clayton Kershaw, right? So I know Clayton Kershaw has a lot of haters. I think it's because he was like that one Dodger, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, all right, fuck you, dude. But then he chokes in the playoffs, so you're like, fuck him. And then you're like, if he could just get one, it'd be all right. You know? And then now he's on this Dodgers team where you're like, all right, fuck them all. I just want them all to die.
Yeah.
And
they got Oppenheimer pitching 14 strikes.
That's good stuff, man. That's good. But let's go from one hated team to the other. The Yankees are on a hot streak right now, right?
You're from New York, there.
Hey, do you think they can maintain this for the regular season or what?
Absolutely not. I still feel like the Orioles are going to be the team that wins that division. Now, will the Yankees make the playoffs this year, unlike last year? Probably. Will they do anything in the playoffs? To be determined, but
Garrett Cole's coming back?
Yeah, if he can come back the way we remember Garrett Cole. But I don't think they can sustain it. They're not going to win 10 games and lose 2 games repeatedly for 162 games. That's almost impossible. They're going to go on a rough stretch for a while.
Almost.
Yeah, almost. They could win every game from here on out. Nothing's impossible. But I don't think they're going to keep the track record of 10-2.
Okay. No, and I'm with you on that. I agree with you. I did. You weren't here for the World Series picks, but I do have. It's the Yankees and Dodgers. I think this year. I think it's the mecca of all meccas. That's what we get in the World Series.
No, I was here for World Series picks. I picked. I'm pretty sure I picked Orioles Dodgers.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm tripping. I've been drinking heavy too. So anyway, but I think they can sustain the hot streak. I think they do it again. I think around All-Star break is when they'll kind of, and I think that's kind of where they have that, like you said, little scut. But let's talk about the Orioles. What's that?
I said once it gets too hot in the Bronx.
Bingo. Yeah, and this be like, all right, hey, we gotta, slow down. But let's talk about the Orioles and Jackson Holliday fucking getting called up. I didn't think the Orioles were gonna do it, and they did. How do you take that?
I feel like I knew they were going to do it, but at some point, how many top prospects are you going to have on your team? They're you only have so many positions. Their bench players are better prospects. It seems like the whole team's rookies now, besides Adley Rutschman.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with all? I don't know if it hinders the development or not, but the team is rolling, so obviously they're doing something right. So I'm not going to argue that, but if they all click, this team is going to be one of the best teams in baseball for potentially 10 plus years. They're all barely able to start drinking now, which is wild.
Yes, and I think they've done it. It only scares me is the owner. Is he going to be? Is he going to cheap out and just be like, "Fuck it, let's trade him. We'll do some new prospects."
You didn't see the celebration?
I didn't know.
I'm pretty sure he passed away, and they sold the team. There's a new ownership. They were pretty cool guys. I'm pretty sure I'm thinking of the right team. If I'm not, I'm fucking wrong here. But I'm pretty sure there was 2 guys, at least. Obviously, ownership group, it's more than 2 guys. But the 2 front runners, they're at a local Baltimore bar, and they're buying everyone drinks. So they seem cool as fuck.
All right, that's kind of cool.
I need to look that up. I need to verify because there's a lot of MLB sales recently.
Yeah, I will say too. I think Baltimore has a nice niche, especially for baseball fans. I think Cal Ripken definitely kind of put some people in place where he's like, "Hey, this is a team you can root for." They're World Series champions. Now that was fucking 40 years ago, but they've won a World Series. It's not like they're the Marlins or the Rays where they're like, hopefully we can get one, or even the Athletics now. And that's another weird situation. You want to talk about, actually, you know what? You want to talk about that too? The weird Athletics thing going on?
Yeah, but I will just add, David Rubenstein purchased the Baltimore Orioles on March 27th. That dude, he fucks hard.
Of this year?
Yeah, of this year. So the owner previously, I'm pretty sure he died beginning of spring training, middle of spring training.
He didn't give it to his kids?
I think they sold it. They're like fucking cash out, baby.
Oh, the kids are like, hey, yes,
I don't know, but
God. All right.
he bought it. But yeah, the A's, they're fucking ruining baseball. All the other owners, they've got the limpest little weenies, and they're not fucking stopping them from keeping baseball in a great baseball town. They just had a shitty stadium. Like I'm pretty sure opening day, no one bought tickets to the A's, but there was 20,000 plus fans in the parking lot tailgating the season. Like they were out there, but they were not going to go in there to support the team with the ownership. So they were outside, and the owner's just like, where's all our fans? Look outside. There's a fucking sea of people, but they're not coming in here because of you. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I did see it was the thing, it was like some merchant or whatever. It was like only put athletics things out there. Don't say Oakland. Don't fucking push Oakland merch or whatever. I know they're going to be in Sacramento for 2 years because the stadium or whatever is like, all right, fucking, you don't want to be here, don't be here. But it's like, you could just upgrade the stadium and everything would be fine. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
But it's like look at the Chargers, right? Like, Solcom was a fucking wreck of a stadium, and they were like, all right, we'll just go to LA. And everyone was like, oh, okay. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't to this level, right?
No.
And I just wonder how the Athletics and how baseball is taking it. The ownership argument is okay to me, but I'm just wondering, is it not going to be better to go to Vegas? I think the Vegas A's are going to be better than the Oakland A's. I'm sorry, they're going to be better.
Yeah,
I'm
but
more
also
excited for that.
I seen a different point of view. So like Vegas is supposed to be like this, dingy party, like we're gonna stay up all night, like do all this cool stuff, like it's Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. There's all this thing, they're getting all this nice shit now, where Vegas is just turning into a nice town, and it's almost ruining Vegas. So now it's not gonna be Vegas that you go there, you fucking try to blow up the world for a weekend. Now it's just like a nice town. Like think about, let's go to fucking Tampa Bay, Florida. Like, we're just going to go hang out there. Nothing crazy. Like, that's what Vegas is turning into because they're cleaning up. They're, like, destroying all these, like, I believe that where their baseball is going to be is where the Tropicana's at. Like, they just closed that down recently. They're going to demolish that, and that's going to be the site of the A's. So, like, the Tropicana, like, basically the start of Vegas with all the mobsters and stuff, laundering money through. It was, like, the world's, like, most expensive resort at the time. Like, that's gone now, even though it's old and shitty. Like, obviously, you should go. Yeah. But, like, Vegas is no longer going to be Vegas how we viewed it, like, when we were kids.
Hey,
in the future, it's be like, oh, yeah, it's the place with the casinos. But, like, you want to do, like, a conference there or something? Like, nothing crazy. I don't know.
Well, the UFC is still there.
Yeah, the UFC's there. But that's another, like, they're getting all this nice shit where it's, like, ruining the shine or like the dull of Vegas, where it's like you could go there and fucking change your life, or like you could just go there and ruin your life and just fucking tear it down. But now it's just like turning into a regular city with, like, I don't know, name other cities that have 4 sports teams. You don't go there to fucking ruin your life. You go there to watch some sports, watch hockey, watch baseball. You don't go there to fucking.
I've been thinking about this because it was the Knights got there a year before the Raiders came to Vegas, and I think it showed what sports can be like in Vegas. And the NBA is even talking about expanding to Vegas, and they need to go back to Seattle for the love of God. I don't understand why the NBA is not doing that. But if you look at it, the Knights set it up for everybody. They were like, look at this fucking market of people who want to have pride in their city, and it's, instead of being, like you said, a tourist town, it's locals who love the fucking Knights. It's locals now who love the Raiders. Well, they were probably already Raiders fans anyway to begin with, but I just think the A's can really tap into that market.
But then, another thing to add to that is that people still just go to Vegas because it's Vegas, right? And they're like, oh, while we're here, let's catch a baseball team. So then now the prices of those things are going to go sky high. So, like, I live in between Phoenix and Vegas. So last year when the Lions, like, I was looking for Lions. The Lions didn't play in either one of those places. But I was looking at prices and stuff. In Vegas, it's so expensive to go to a game. So you have all these people at the casinos gambling, winning big, oh, fuck it, let's go to a game. And then the locals are like, Dad, can we go to a baseball game?
Fuck.
No, son, the 400 level's $3,000. I got to go play blackjack. Your mom's leaving me. Like, that's what the locals are doing. You got all these business people, like, fucking doing coke at the pools, and like, let's go to an A's game. Like, that's what it's going to be like. It's just going to be people who are taking a break from the casino or using their winnings and just going to the ballpark, and then little Timmy on his fucking, I don't know, little league team, like, oh, I wish I could go to my team game, but Dad says it's too expensive. Like, baseball games are supposed to be cheap. Like, go to a game for $20. Like, sit in the upper deck and eat 9 hot dogs and drink 9 beers in 9 innings. Like, that's what a baseball game should be.
I will say it's funny because being from Dallas, like, I don't have there's no hometown teams that I'm fans of, except for the Rangers, because we were able to go to those games because it was cheap. Like you said, we would fucking go sit in some shitty seats. Nothing against my family or my parents or anything, but we go sit in shitty seats.
No, but that's baseball. You sit like, unless you're behind home plate or like right on the railing of the outfield, they're all shitty seats. Like,
dude, and then you bring the binoculars. I don't know if you had the same thing in Comerica. You bring the binoculars, and it's like, I'm already right here. It doesn't even fucking matter where I'm sitting at because I can fucking see the whole thing right now.
Yeah, when there was a Miguel Cabrera retirement like ceremony before a game, me and my brother bought the worst. It was like $15 a ticket. We were in the very upper level, but right above home plate.
You and Shane?
Yeah, so I was looking down on home plate, it was $15, but I was like, why would I ever spend $200 again? Those were the best seats I've ever had because it was like I was watching it from the TV camera, but I was there. So like you could hear the crack of the bat. You could hear the announcers eating hot dogs. But like it was the best view. It was the best view. It was like $15.
Awesome. Yeah.
But in Vegas, you're not going to get that because some cokehead's going to be up there spending $3,000.
Do you think they changed the color scheme? I think they should.
I mean, if they obviously they are, but they should be the Oakland Aces or the Las Vegas Aces. Like, that only makes sense. Like, how are you going to be the A's and be like, we got 1,400 casinos right here? Like, you couldn't just tweak a little thing. Like, it's not that you could still keep the hat, like the Oakland A.
Oh, the A.
Yeah, you can still keep that.
Why not just still be the A's, but you like maybe make it a Spady? And I'm saying change the whole A logo, but make it like where it is like maybe the Aces, but it's the A's still with like a spade kind of thing. Am I tripping?
Yeah. Or I mean, they could keep their color scheme, but then their City Connect jerseys would be the best by far.
Oh, that's fair. Well, so I will raise you before we get into the NFL draft because we're good on time. But I'll raise you every year in the show. My franchise, I've been moving to because the build your own stadium is fucking top notch. It's the best. But I always move to Vegas. I always take the A's and move them to Vegas. And dude, purple and black, and I just fucking ride that shit out. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little susceptible to the purple and black because of the Baltimore Ravens, but that's a fucking sweet color scheme, dude. In baseball, like imagine a black uniform, purple pinstripes. I mean, bruh. I mean, come on.
I mean, that or just black and red, just a deck of cards basically is your color scheme, which isn't bad.
That's good, yeah.
But I feel like as MLB fans who like MLB hats and stuff, like the Oakland A's hat is one of the best hats you can get. Like I'm gonna stock up on some. Like I rarely wear other teams' hats, but like I'm gonna stock up on them. Like, yeah.
You know, I did that because I have the Chief Ahu hat for the Cleveland Indians.
I missed out on that too.
I'm sorry. Well, it's in your division. That's a little weird to kind of have. But
it's still a sick ass hat though.
No, it's a fucking sweet hat. It's one of my hats. Like I'll wear. Like, are we going to a funeral? Like, do I need to look nice? Let me just fucking. Hey, okay.
Yeah, how could you not like Wild Thing? I get it. They're in my division, but like
that's fair.
Great fucking movie. Great fucking movie.
The first two are good.
Yeah.
I even like the second one. The third one is kind of like, all right, hey.
All right, let's give it a break.
Yeah.
Give it a break. You can only be wild so much.
Right. There's a little too much wildness happening. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then I mean after Tiger's Blood too, you're like, all right.
No, right.
Calm down. Let's move here. We'll do this one really quick. Elly De La Cruz, the phenom, the young phenom of baseball. Had a home run from each side of the plate. One of those was an inside the park. Had a stolen base and 4+ runs. That's the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah, and why are we not hearing about this more?
I don't know, Matt. Why are we not?
Why didn't I get an ESPN notification, basically like an Amber Alert, like, hey, this fucking guy who's Ken Griffey from both sides of the plate just did it again. Like, why is this not bigger news? Like, I go to Bleacher Report on the MLB tab. What I see is Giancarlo hit home run versus 30 different teams, all the teams. Shohei's innocent, like basic shit. But this guy's actually playing baseball and doing some wild ass shit that never been done before. Like, pause. Like, I get it's the tournament. Put Caitlin Clark in the back burner for a fucking minute. This is actually great too. Like, we can talk about multiple things. Like, put him in the top 10. Like, I've not seen that. I haven't even seen the highlight.
Do you think it's because it's baseball statistics, and that's something like, I'm not saying it's I think sports, we're gearing towards this weird era of stories. And I think him being a great baseball player is not a story.
No, you know what's crazy is him as a person is a great story. What I've seen about Ellie this year is that he spent all offseason, besides playing baseball, doing his best every day to learn how to speak English, to speak to his fans, because during the interview, he did it fully in English. And they're like, why did you do that? Not a lot of, players who come here even make the effort to learn English other than like, hello. And he's like, well, I have a whole other, side of the world who is interested in me and like wants to talk to me. Why wouldn't I want to talk to them too? And he learned English over the off season. It's not good English, but like he did the interview fully in English, didn't have someone like, what did he say? Like, it was a little bit slow, but like you could tell where like he's gonna be speaking English from now on. Like he obviously to like the American crowd and English speaking crowds, like he doesn't have to speak English every day, right? But
yeah,
it was awesome. Like, why don't more players do that? Like, he's a superstar. One of the best players, does it from both sides of the plate, is a great shortstop. And now he's like, I'm gonna learn English too, because these people want to talk to me. They don't want to like look while some fucking guy was stealing my money, and I'm sitting here like, I think I know what he's saying. Like, he wants to know what he's saying. Like, and I'm glad he did it the year that Shohei got his money stolen. Like,
yeah,
hey, Shohei, look, this guy fucking put some effort in. Maybe we should hate him for that.
I will say, let me because I'll hit you in the heart. Miguel Cabrera wasn't very good with English in Florida when it was the Florida Marlins. He came to Detroit and was a little better with English, right?
Yeah, he got better. He got to a point where like he would do full interview. Like, it never got fluent, like great English, but like enough where he was gonna talk. He didn't need a translator. He speaks English fine. It's just like kind of like Big Papi or Pedro Martinez. Like, they don't speak great English, but they speak English enough where it's not hard to understand.
Yeah, and Miguel Cabrera is Venezuelan, right?
Yeah, he is.
So it's like it's still Spanish, I think.
Yeah, it's just like going from the Northeast to the South. I'm like, what the fuck is this fucking hillbilly saying to me? Like, it's just different dialect.
I just wish baseball. I don't know what baseball needs to do to be like kind of reaching more of a mass audience. I do think if we cut the games, that's one thing. But I do think we maybe need to cut it to 7 innings, man. I know that's like a big, huge change. Hold on, before I understand how big of a deal that is to change to 7 innings. But I think it would be better for baseball to get someone to watch it, because, dude, 9 innings is a long time, Matt. They're doing great things with this pitch clock and doing all that stuff. But it's like, dude, 9 innings is a lot for people to just watch. The action is not enough where it's NBA, NFL. It's not enough to keep someone watching. The average fan, if you don't already like baseball, it's hard to become a baseball fan. It's hard.
Yeah, but I will say, to become a baseball fan, to watch 9 innings is hard. But I think it's the publicity and like the SportsCenter top 10, like those things that get people wanting to watch. Like, oh fuck, let me watch some in case something crazy happens. Like Ellie, like if we're not gonna just mass market this guy, like, hey, fucking watch this guy now, or in 20 years, be like, oh shit, that guy was really doing that. Like, Ken Griffey Jr., huge player, but now I feel like he's more remembered now than he was then. Like, he was great, like great, but now people are like, oh, Ken Griffey is like, you don't even watch baseball. Like, I guarantee you didn't even know him when you were a kid or stuff like that. And then on the other side is they push Aaron Judge. He's going to hit 52 home runs. He's going to hit 52 home runs or whatever it was. And he only broke the American League record. You'd be watching whatever, NBA, hockey, whatever it was. Not hockey, but whatever else you were watching, another baseball game, something. And it's like, fuck, dude, I'm trying to watch this. No one gives a fuck about this home run. People hit 70 home runs. Who gives a shit if it was steroids or not? People are just as strong as those guys were then. They didn't even know how to work out. They were just bench pressing. That's all they were doing. Like, nothing crazy. Like, when we have people who have like doctorates in knowing how to work out now, like, it's a much bigger thing. Like, now if we give our guys steroids, they'll hit 150 home runs easily, guaranteed.
Easy. Yes.
But absolutely. I get him hitting 50 home runs was cool, but like, we didn't need to do that. I feel like that was a negative thing because all I've heard is like, why the fuck is Aaron Judge on my screen again? No one gave a shit about that.
I don't know if you've talked to general sports fans, but talking to them about the Aaron Judge thing when he did it, I think it was 2 years ago, when he was doing it, they were like, yeah, he's about to be the home run king. I'm like, well, no. And they were just like, what?
American League.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, the American League. And they're just like, yeah, the league. And I'm like, no. And it's like already talking to them, you could see them just be like,
it's so stupid. That'd be like, no, in the NFC, this is the rushing title in the NFC. And they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Tell me in the AFC they had 500 more yards? Yeah, they did. Like, that's so stupid. Like, well, the AFC passing yard is by Peyton Manning, but NFC is by Tom Brady when he was on the Bucs. Or that's not true, but just
I get
stupid shit like that.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, so then we don't need to care about this.
Oh, so who's really did the most? Like, these teams play each other. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, this isn't like the 80s when they didn't play each other until they got to the World Series. Well, even before that. I think Interleague started in like the 70s or something. But like before that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they used to only meet besides like scrimmages and different things, I think they only met in the World Series because they were two different leagues. But then I think once they merged in the MLB, it took a while for them to actually start playing each other in the regular season.
That's something I didn't know.
Even recently, like they would say like interleague play is starting, and it wouldn't start until like
it was
August.
like before the All-Star break and a little bit after, and then it was like, all right, back to regular programming.
Yeah, but like right now, you might have opening day, fucking American League versus National League team now because there's no designated. Well, I guess there is an all-time designated hitter now.
Yeah, but that's a different conversation because I think that's fucking stupid. Just me.
I liked when American League went to the National League and there was a problem, and then National League went to the American League. Like, we don't have a fucking Big Papi. We don't have that. Like, what the fuck is that guy? He's 300 pounds, just hits bombs.
We have a fucking a middle infielder, 210 pounds. Just hopefully he gets hit.
This guy was a second baseman. Yeah, he's just been juicing, eating steaks in the fucking dugout.
All right, man. Let's move on to the big heart of the show. We did a pretty good job, I think, of making time. Let's go down Mel Kiper, the famous Mel Kiper's mock ESPN draft. Number 1, Chicago Bears taking Caleb Williams. Do we need to spend time on that? I mean, I will say, you know what? Actually, yeah. Let's spend 2 seconds on it.
Can I pause you? I have this fucking Mel Kiper thing. No, you don't have to pause that.
Oh.
But pause this. What the fuck? The Steve Caliendo, the Mel Kiper.
Right. Yeah.
What the fuck does he say? I don't know what he's saying. Someone's
Todd.
That Todd. I don't know why I can think of Todd. Todd.
Top notch, because it's spot the fuck on. It is.
So good.
And so good. Are we seeing less of Todd McShay this year? Am I just tripping because I'm getting old or something? But I don't.
No, I know like 2 years ago, there was a thing on the internet, maybe longer ago, maybe shorter ago, but like he had a health scare, like his face was all swollen up and shit. But then I seen him recently and he's back, so I'm not really sure if that was real or not. But I know at some point he had like a health scare.
Oh, that's scary. Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully you get better, Todd, if you had that.
I feel like he's already better, but I feel like it was, or I might be delusional. I might be drunk right now. I don't know.
Maybe you are. But the Caleb Williams thing I think is intriguing only because I think he's the first Gen Z quarterback. I saw something where it's like he's the first Gen Z quarterback, and we just don't really we think number one, Gen Z is just weird as fuck. Sorry, it's a weird group of kids. It is. And I think this is the first great athlete from that generation, and we just don't know how to react. And it's like Tonio shits on Caleb Williams all he does with the nails and with the crying and all that stuff.
Tonio paints his nails when he's not in the pod, so
I think he's gonna have a problem with this whenever we release this out. But yeah, I think it's one of those things where we just don't understand this kind of guy. Andrew Luck had a little bit of it because he was kind of like being a franchise quarterback. You can't be
he was too smart.
Engineer nerd. You can't. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, you gotta be Peyton Manning where you're smart, but like this guy will still drink beers and tell you what to put on roulette. Like
yes, yeah, exactly. Like that's exactly right. But I think that's where we're at with Caleb Williams. But he's number one, easy, no problem. As soon as they trade Justin Fields, you're like, okay, Caleb Williams. Number two, he has the Commanders taking Jaden Daniels, where Drake May has been the kind of mainstay for Washington. I'm a weird cynic with. They drafted Sam Howell from North Carolina. I don't think they get another North Carolina quarterback.
I could see that.
You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those
that's like the Jets, like Mark Sanchez to what's his name, Sam Darnold, basically.
Yes.
I mean, it was a little bit longer, but
right. No, and it was
the same thing.
But yes, it's essentially the same. Where it's like this is kind of a strange.
No, we've done this. Like
different guy, I don't like it. Right. And I think Jaden Daniels is a better number two pick. Am I wrong in that assessment?
I don't know if he's better. I feel like they're both pretty even, but I feel like this is just Cliff Kingsbury's on that squad, and everyone's just like, well, that's the quarterback he likes. That makes more sense than a guy who's kind of mobile, but is more of just a pocket passer.
Right. And especially with Dan Quinn being the head coach, I think Cliff, it's going to be like, if I'm Dan Quinn, I'm like, hey, you got it, right? Because
you're the offensive guru, right? You got it. I'm the defensive guru. You do your job.
And look at Dan Quinn. And people can shit on the Falcons losing the fucking the 28-3 lead. But if I'm Dan Quinn and I know, hey, Cliff has the offense, Kyle Shanahan has the offense, I can get us to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now we might not win it, and we could fucking. I'll make a shot at Chris here too. Like, oh god, we're the worst franchise ever because we didn't win a fucking Super Bowl, but we got one. I think the Commanders will be happy with that. Now the New England Patriots at 3. This is back-to-back quarterbacks going, or back-to-back-to-back. Drake May is coming to New England. You think that's a good pick?
I mean, they need a quarterback, so like any quarterback they take there, unless they like reach and like I don't know, got some guy from fucking El Paso State or something. Like I feel like any pick there is good, but it's just hard to tell with like that team is a fucking dumpster fire. It's not good. There's no like hope on the team. There's no like that's our guy. Like Ramondre Stevens might be the best guy like on the team, and they didn't even use him last year. They're like, oh, we got Zeke. We're gonna use this guy. Like, no, this guy rookie was just bouncing off people like a pinball, like, and then now we're not gonna use him. So I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I would agree with them.
I will say I do think there is a weird play here where I think they might take Marvin Harrison Jr. and think they have a guy in the back of their head in the later rounds to pick up. They've done it with Tom Brady. We've seen it before. So
but I think that's a good spot for them to trade down, acquire more picks. He's seen Bill do it a million times. He's like, well, if he can do it, I can do it. I don't know. He's the one who trained them. So
at 3, especially with how heavy the quarterbacks are needed, I could see that. I like that. But then at 4, he has Arizona taking Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that's a sweet pick. I've seen some weird mocks where people think Neighbors is going before him, and I don't see it.
No. Yeah, I mean, if Marvin Harrison's still there, I guess they kind of need a quarterback, but they can't because they paid him $250 million in Call of Duty bucks. So, yeah. They got to take a watch seat. He's more of a Fortnite guy.
So,
All
right. So here's the first trade, and I know that you're a hater of trades for mock drafts for the big guys, right? When I do my mock, I'm gonna have trades, so I just need you to be here.
When are we gonna submit our mocks for the pod? So I can
next week.
Next week. Okay.
Yeah, so next week. Everybody, I'm gonna put in the group
chat. 32.
Yeah, just the first round, just have fun. Well, so
we put a graphic up.
What's that?
We put like a graphic up how you have fucking John come up. We'll just scan all of ours in.
Yeah, no, we could do that. If go to Pro Football Focus, I think they still let you do the first round for free.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not 100%. I know they used to, before they got big, it was they let you do all 7 rounds, and that's what I was doing.
Get wild in there.
But we'll put that on there because I know last year we just kind of did my mock, and then everybody kind of reacted to what mine was going to be. And then at 5, this is where the Vikings come up, the Chargers go back, and the Vikings go get your boy JJ McCarthy. Is that a sweet pick? Take your fandom out of it, man. I need you to just remove your fandom from this.
No, I think that's a good pick.
Why?
I think besides Jaden Daniels, I think him and Jaden Daniels are the most mobile quarterback. Which is a good in today's game. You need a quarterback who can move at least a little bit. Doesn't have to be Lamar Jackson by any means, but something Aaron Rodgers-esque. He's the new, like that is the prototype for new age quarterbacks where they're able just to move effortlessly and get away from basically every defensive lineman. Maybe not every linebacker, but
we're on a 3rd and 6. I know this quarterback can run 6 yards.
I'm going to use my legs as a threat, but I'm still looking to pass.
Right.
Player. I think it's no fandom here, but I do believe he's one of the most athletic quarterbacks coming out of the draft besides Joe Milton. I've seen somewhere he's like 260, ran a 4.4. Fucking wild.
That's
basically, yeah. I think it may have been 4.5. I might be exaggerating there. But I feel like he's got one of the biggest arms at the combine. He only threw a mile per hour less than Joe Milton.
Yeah.
He's a fraction of the size.
And Joe Milton's big thing is getting the fucking ball down there. Yeah,
exactly. And then I don't know if this really translates to quarterbacks, but JJ McCarthy ran one of the best 3-cones at the combine. He was like a top 10 3-cone guy. So I don't know how many people actually ran the 3-cone at the combine, but when I was going through the top 10s of the top performers at every drill, and I seen him at the top. I was like, why the fuck is he there? He did it better than a lot of players. He did it better than Roman Dunze.
So did Johnny Manziel on that 3-cone drill.
Yeah, but I feel like that would translate well to Johnny Manziel. That's a whole different story. But I feel like that translates well to being in the pocket, moving around quickly, bouncing around off your fucking offensive tackle's ass. Like I feel like that's where that drill would translate. So if you got a bad offensive line, he can zip in and out and then use his top end speed to get out of it.
And the Vikings don't have a bad offensive line. They don't have a great one, but they don't have a bad one.
No, but they have NFC North has some demons on the defensive line on every team. So if you don't have a great offensive line in the North, you're gonna have some issues.
Right.
I think it's a good pick.
No, I think it's a good pick, but I do think the Vikings really got to worry about defense. Like the offensive power, especially Jordan Love on the come up now. We already know what the Lions are going to be like. The Bears with Caleb Williams now, I think, are going to be better. I think they really got to worry about their defense now. They don't have a quarterback. I think if you keep Kirk Cousins, obviously you go defense here. But I don't, and I think the thing you miss with JJ is running a pro style system with Jim Harbaugh. I think has helped him. Where I don't think JJ needs to throw the ball. Where the Penn State game, we talked about this for lengths on the show. Where JJ is like, oh, we're just going to run it down him? Okay, fuck it. I'll hand this motherfucker off, and we'll go win the fucking game.
Yeah, whereas Caleb Williams, is he going to be okay in Chicago when they're like, hey, we've got this running back. We're in the North. There's terrible weather out here. We're going to run the fucking ball. And he's be like, I don't think so.
My dad said,
Actually, my nails say I'm going to throw the ball.
But yes, no, I'm with you on that. The Giants, Mel has them taking Malik Neighbors. I think that's a great pick. But I will say, with Darren Waller's retirement or rap career, however he's going to do his thing,
He hasn't retired officially.
Why not take Brock Bowers here? You need some help on the outside, but I think this receiver draft, Matt, is so fucking deep. You'll get you a top end receiver even to the third round.
Yeah, I just don't know if you take a tight end that high. Like, I think the last tight end to get taken that high and almost work out was Hawkinson at 10, but we still ended up trading him.
Yeah.
So it's like it almost never works out. He's a great player, but it didn't work out.
Right.
Which is wild to say, but that's like, yeah, it almost never works out drafting a tight end.
But Hawkinson was in that really weird Iowa system with Irv Smith Jr. at that time too, right? Or not Irv Smith Jr.
Noah Fant.
Noah Fant, thank you. Yes, and it was like a weird 2 tight end thing at Iowa, especially.
Well, Noah Fant played more of like the Brock Bowers, like off the line of scrimmage, kind of like a slot wide receiver-esque, but he was just big as hell.
And I think that's where TJ got a lot of credit, was getting a little bit less of that coverage because of Noah Fant, how he was doing it, where TJ'd hit you with a block for a second and then be like, all right.
Blocker in college, yeah.
Right, yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of where we're at. But I understand a wide receiver pick here. I do get it. But I don't think you can get another tight end in this draft. Why not take Bowers and reassess the wide receiver position when you get there?
Yeah, because you go to the second round, drafted a wide receiver in the second round, get fucking Johnny Wilson from Florida State, 6'7". Now you've got 2 humongous monsters out here. Yeah. I don't know if Johnny Wilson is a second round pick, but just throwing things like
no. I've seen Coleman from, or not Coleman, Jordan Travis. He's mocked for a second round in a lot of mocks.
Yeah.
Why not go ahead and go up and get him if in the second round? If you already got Brock Bowers and you can go get Jordan Travis too, fuck.
Yeah.
But at number 7, the Tennessee Titans are going to take Joe Alt from Notre Dame.
I think that's a great pick because they picked what's his name from Northwestern last year. He can play all 5.
Or
yeah, Skoronski. He can play all 5 positions. You get a guy like Joe Alt, who now Skoronski's a little undersized, but he can do
he played guard.
Well.
He played guard all season last year.
Yeah. But I think they drafted him to initially because Taylor Lewan was out. They're like, well, we need fucking left tackle. But then whatever, it shook out that he played guard. But now you have left tackles secured. You have one of the better guards in football. As long as he keeps progressing, he should be. There's no signs that he'll be a bust. So I think that secures a great offensive line for Tony Pollard to run through. So
I do.
Get your run game going.
I will say at this point, I hate how tackles are drafted because we're like, we project them to play tackle, but it's also like, it's not necessarily a bad thing when they move to guard in the NFL because it's like, hey man, all these motherfuckers are huge. Like you might have to slide over and just play a little bit of guard. You know what I mean? Like it's not an insult because you get paid. Now you're not going to get paid left tackle money, but you'll get paid a fuck ton being a guard.
Yeah.
But like you said,
your career lasts longer. You're going to get paid more money eventually, anyways. So
right? Like
if you're undersized, overperforming at left tackle, you may get bounced out of the league, but you might get a paycheck out of it. But then you're going to have more security at guard.
But if I'm playing a guard, I don't get that huge paycheck, but I get that small paycheck, and then I get another big paycheck.
I keep getting them.
Right.
Yeah.
And then all right, so at 8, and this is where I'm starting to agree with Mel, and I don't like that I am. But at 8, the Falcons are taking Dallas Turner from Alabama. I think that's a fantastic pick. If you look at Atlanta's pass rush, last in the league in pass rush win rate. Now, they weren't last in sacks, but they were last in pass rush win rate, and I think that says a little bit of something about that line.
Yeah. I don't know what's happened to Grady Jarrett lately, their D tackle there, but I feel like he was just up there with the Aaron Donalds of the world. Like, holy fuck, these guys are good. Obviously, clearly not Aaron Donald, but like you have Aaron Donald, then you have like this row of guys. I feel like he just kind of like fell off, and I don't know if it's injuries or what has happened to him, but like if you can get him healthy and then give him a young edge player to come off the edge and, him taking up double teams, like that's a recipe for, success right there. If you can get your veteran D tackle back playing 75% of what he has in his career, that's awesome.
No, and I'm with you 100% here. And then 9, the Bears are right back up. And I don't know about you. I know you and I watched the draft. We watched the second, third round together, but we've never watched a first round draft together. And it's something about the fanfare. And I think so. Here the Bears are, and Mel has them taken Romo Dunze from Washington. Great wide receiver, good separation, good one-on-one catch ratio. But I will say, and I'm going to bring up Brock Bowers again. I understand the Bears have Colt Kmet. I get that. But they also already have DJ Moore, and they just got Keenan Allen. I just think, why not go ahead and do the Patriot mantra and take the Aaron Hernandez, Rob Gronkowski role and put Bowers and fucking Kmet as fucking, I'm going to run a twin tight end, 2 on the outside, 1 running back. Why is that not the way they're going to think about doing it?
I don't understand why no other team has done that either, because that was so dominant. And now especially it could be even more dominant because linebackers are getting smaller and smaller and just to cover. Yeah, so now you have these 2 giant athletic monsters at tight end to just fuck people up over the middle and go to the sidelines. Like, are you going to have your athletic linebackers sideline to sideline cover him? No, you can't because he's too small. He's 6 foot 230. He's a bowling ball. He can't cover this guy. You're going to put a safety on him. He's too small. He's not strong enough. You need Kyle Hamilton from the Ravens to cover these guys. Like, and no, they're not just making those guys. Those guys don't exist anywhere else.
I will say, you said the Ravens, the way we used Mark Andrews before he got hurt and Isaiah Likely, we were like, oh, yeah, you want to do this? Okay, fuck it. Yeah. Here you go. Try to tackle him with that safety. I dare you. Like, what are you know what I'm saying? I just think the Bears are going to miss out. And I like, look, I've been actually shit on this for work, just talking to my buddies at work, and they're just like, Pools is doing a great job, and everybody's like, no, he's not. I'm like, he's doing, I think, the best. Number one, the best that he can do in Chicago to kind of keep everybody happy. Where it's like, okay, you let go of Roquan Smith. I understand, like, being upset about that. Not to keep it on the Ravens, but I understand being upset about losing probably the best middle linebacker in the NFL. But you go get Montez Sweat. Like, what was the point of paying him if you weren't going to pay Roquan? But I think it was the young nucleus where it's like, hey, this is how we're going to do things. I think Poles is doing a great job. Am I tripping on that, Matt? That's in your division.
No, I think he is doing a good job. But, like, in the back of my mind is like, how can't any of these GMs the last 15, 20 years succeed in Chicago? Like, it's a storied franchise. It's not like you seeing Green Bay being down for long. They may be, get bounced in the first round, but they're back to the playoffs the next year. Yeah. Pittsburgh's always in it. The 49ers are like, they have their down years, but they're always back. Like, feels like every 10 years, they're always back to the top of the NFL. Like, they have these, I don't know what it is about Chicago where they were once one of the most storied franchises, but then now they're just off a cliff and they just can't climb back up where these other historically great franchises can do it. Besides the Cowboys, they're lingering around 500 every year, but boom, that's what it is.
No,
I think he's doing good.
Okay, and I'm with you. I'm glad you said that because I thought you were going to shit on me too. At number 10, the New York Jets. Finally, Brock Bowers comes off the board. I know I said his name for 2 different teams.
Yeah, they picked him 14 times already.
Probably, yeah. But if I'm the Jets here, and it's funny because now that Brock Bowers is here, I'm fucking upset with this pick. Get a fucking offensive line. New York, what the fuck are you doing? What, like,
you're going to rely on
Smith. Fucking 2 snaps.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
You're going to rely on a left tackle who he tears his Achilles every other season?
So I'm not tripping on this, Matt. Like the Jets need to get an offensive lineman. Or even trade back and get an offensive line trading back.
Yeah, no, trade back and draft 2 or 3 second or third round offensive linemen. Not top tier, but just like, hey, this guy's good, but he needs to work on this. Get him on your team and work on that. Like, don't wait until the 5th, 7th round. Like, I think we should take this guy from Wichita Falls State Community College. He's pretty big. Like, no, don't do that. Like, take a guy in the 2nd and 3rd round, maybe. Like, 1st round, address what you think you should do. Get fucking Brock Bowers or something. But your 2nd round needs to be an offensive lineman for sure. If you don't go offensive lineman 1st round.
But here's the thing. They don't have a 2nd round pick because they gave it to Green Bay.
2nd pick then, not 2nd round pick.
You see what I'm saying? But that's why I think you have to go offensive line. If I'm the Jets,
they need to trade up, get Joe Alt.
But
let him.
What are you going to trade?
Something you need to. I don't know.
You're going to go 1, 3, and 4. You're going to trade your first pick, your third round pick to go up, and then you're literally sitting on the draft waiting for 4, getting Joel. And I'm with you, getting Joe Alt. That's a great pick.
I don't know why I can't think of the other guy. What's that super? I want to say he's like a Samoan dude.
Tallahassee
Goa. Yeah, basically like Penei Sewell, just an athletic monster, like just huge.
Yeah.
Like, at least get him, get somebody and let him train under Tyron Smith because he's not going to be playing, so he's going to be coaching. And he's good enough to do that.
Fuck that. Put him at guard, dude. We just talked about it. Get the best fucking guys to block because if you're the Jets, that defense is great. It's not going anywhere. If your quarterback is Aaron Rodgers, if that's what you're going to go with, you have to block for him, dude. We can't just – if I'm the Jets, I'm taking offensive line, the best offensive lineman available every single fucking pick. Yeah. If I got 4 picks, all 4 of them offensive line. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to find somebody who can do something on my starting offensive line. Yeah. We have to protect Aaron Rodgers. And I hate it because I'm beating up on the Brock Bowers pick finally. But let's go back now where the Chargers traded back down. Your boy Jim Harbaugh is
he sneezed on them hoes.
Hey, but Jim Harbaugh comes back, gets J.C. Latham, the offensive tackle from Alabama. Great pick.
Yeah. I mean, Jim's going to build from the trenches. His blueprint has been done a million times. He's going to build from the trenches, which other teams like the Jets just seem to not do. That is the blueprint for every fucking great team. Look at the Lions, laughing stock. Hey, we're going to draft a couple offensive linemen, some defensive linemen. Oh, shit, we're one of the best teams. Awesome. Every other team, you get offensive linemen and a defensive line, at least, get a sack or 2 a game. You're in business. You can beat anybody if you're not getting sacked and you're sacking the other team.
Not even sacks, Matt. You just need some pressures, dude.
Yeah,
you just
pressure.
Need to be there.
As long as you're not getting sacked, if they're, your quarterback's not getting hit as much as the other quarterback, chances are you're going to win that game. Doesn't matter what anyone else does.
And look at Jared Goff sitting back there all kinds of time.
Yeah. Having a conversation with a running back.
Fucking superstar now. I mean, fuck, man. It's like, and you talked about the Bears and why these great organizations. It's like, are they scared to follow someone else's blueprint? Look at Jim Harbaugh. He's done it 100 fucking times.
I will say why I would think GMs would be skeptical of following a blueprint. Everyone followed the Patriot way, and it didn't work for a fucking team other than the Patriots. They got all these guys. All these guys, and it really didn't work for anybody.
I'm speaking of more or less the draft itself.
Yeah.
Because the Patriots have always been too weird. They can't draft receivers. They get superstars from fucking nowhere. Kyle Duggar, they got shit on for that second round pick. Kyle Duggar is the leading tackler in the NFL. What?
They draft a quarterback, and he's a borderline Hall of Fame wide receiver.
Literally, and it's funny. Edelman's podcast is another one that I love listening to where
I love the clips.
He's talking about the conversation with Bill. He's like, I don't know where you're going to play, but you're a great football player. We'll see you. And it's like, yeah, that's what fucking needs to happen, right?
Have you seen the one with I want to say his name's Anthony Slater, the special teams ace?
Matt Slater.
Matt Slater.
Yeah.
That dude, I've never seen an interview with that guy before, but I know he's made a million Pro Bowls.
Yeah.
That dude is a dude.
He's awesome.
Why wasn't that guy making all these Pro Bowls getting interviews? That dude's a stud. He is funny, and he's got all these stories, and they had these secret meetings where they look at each other and give a head nod, and then go give a State of the Union, just and then stole the TV from Edelman, and just or Edelman stole the TV from one. It's what the fuck? That dude's awesome. I hate the Patriots, but I love him.
That's a great story. It was one of my favorite interviews I've ever seen. It was so awesome.
Yeah.
Then we got 12. Denver is going with a corner from Toledo. I'm not mad at the pick. I think that's an okay pick. You got another guy going against Patrick Surtain. You have Patrick Mahomes in your division, so yeah, get the corners that you fucking need. I'm like, try to do something, right? It doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't matter the quarterback you have because he's not going to be better than Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm sorry, it doesn't. It really doesn't. But if your defense can hold Pat to fucking 20 points, and if I'm Sean Payton, if I can get 20 points out of whatever quarterback is playing for me, it's not Russ. So thank God. Let me
If
fucking
he can get Taysom Hill to throw for 200 yards, he can get anybody.
Yeah. All right.
But I got one thing to add to that, though.
Go ahead.
I feel like they should take Cooper DeJean instead, and then back-to-back years they've drafted white cornerbacks. So they drafted Riley Moss from Iowa last year as well. That'd be a wild secondary.
Do you think if Cooper DeJean didn't break his leg, he'd be the first corner taken?
Probably. I mean, did you see his pro day numbers?
Yes.
Fantastic. The only thing wrong is, like, if he would have ran a 4.3, he would have been the first guy off the board. But stronger than every other corner, jumps just about as high as every other corner, does everything just as well or better than most of the corners in this draft. Yeah. And he just broke his leg. He's just been hobbling around for a while. He's like,
whoever
4.44.
Whoever picks him up is going to get a fucking steal in the first round. I know he's going to the first round somewhere. I'm sure it's in this mock somewhere, but it's steal.
Yeah, and he's more than just a corner. Like, I almost just walked into the typical white guy, but, like, he's a football player. Like, he puts it.
That's a football player.
Yeah, but, like, he played, like, nickel a lot, and, like, he gets an interception. He's not going down. He's going to take it to the house because he's a great returner as well.
And I was just about to say, and he's a great fucking returner too. That's
if anything, you got that. You have field position just by drafting that guy.
Let's go 13, Las Vegas Raiders. And this is another pick. I'm like, why not take a quarterback? I like Gardner Minshew. I'm a big fan. So is our boy John. Let me get him one more fucking showcase out here. Boom. But you take a quarterback. Penix is right here. I understand his national championship game was bad. I understand he didn't do what he was supposed to do. Why not take another quarterback here?
I think the problem is here. Now, this is
bringing real fast before you go though, Matt. The mock is Talise Fayunga, who you were talking about for the Jets.
Okay, that would still be a good pick. That would be a really good offensive line. But I think they drafted AOC from Purdue last year. He was 24 his rookie year. Now he's going to be 25. Now you have Penix, I believe he's 24 by the start of the season, or he's 24 now.
Way better than Aiden O'Connell. Come on.
Yes, but by the time his second contract's up, he's 30, and then your other guy, he's 30 as well. You already have, like, age-wise, the most experienced quarterback room in the NFL, and they're 1 and 2 year guys with no experience in the NFL.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This quarterback draft is weird because it's JJ. JJ feels like he played the longest. He's 21. Everyone else is 23 or 24, which is wild because they were all true COVID quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Whereas Lamar has 2 MVPs, and these guys are just entering the league.
Yeah, and Bo Nix took classes with fucking Lamar. Like,
I don't get it. And then we'll go to the Saints. Olu Fashamu
from Penn State.
From Penn State, yes. Trevor Penning really isn't working out. Again, this is another conversation. Move him to guard. Let's see what he can do on the inside. His arms are a little shorter. They got him from fucking Northern Iowa State. Or not Northern Iowa State. Northern Iowa, not state. Northern Iowa, where Kirk Warner's from. Move to guard. You get yourself another tackle. Hopefully Derek Carr can stay up and keep Kamara running free, right?
Yeah, I will say that guy is from watching Michigan dominate all these great offensive tackles. We played just about every great offense tackle in this draft besides Joe Alt. Yeah. That was the guy who stopped us, really. Like, we didn't get really any pressure.
I did play Joe Alt, you silly goose.
We didn't play Notre Dame this year.
Oh, you didn't play Joe Alt, excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah, but we played Alabama, we played Washington, we played Penn State. These are the top other tackles. Yeah. He was the guy who stopped our defensive ends. Like, he was just hands to their chest. They're not going anywhere. We had to go around the guy, basically. So I will say, from watching him versus Michigan, he put up the best fight versus like the best D-line in the country.
Done with you. Indianapolis Colts take Terry Arnold from Alabama. I don't like this pick because if you're taking a corner from Alabama, why do you not take Kool-Aid McKinstry? That's just my thing. Seeing Terry Arnold, he's a great corner. Played pretty decent against Michigan. If I'm missing that,
yeah,
he was the one who didn't get. He was the only one who played that JJ throwing back to play. He was the only corner that was where he was supposed to be for that type of play. And I do think that's a big fucking deal of a corner who knows where he's supposed to be.
Yeah, and I think that's why I seen like right after like college football play, like mock drafts come out. I think a lot of the reasons why they're taking him over Kool-Aid, they're both similar sized guys, both athletically about the same. But I think it was his like mind and his attitude of like scrappiness versus Kool-Aid, where I don't really know. Like Kool-Aid's more like the attitude of like a premier lockdown corner, where like this guy, like he does all the dirty shit, like all the white guy attributes, but it's for this guy.
Yeah, no, and I'm with you 100%. But I think Kool-Aid's comp is more or less Sauce Gardner at just a bigger school, and that's why I think I'm so high on Kool-Aid. Is I just don't understand why.
Kool-Aid.
Hey, I'm drinking it. Look, if he can fall to fucking Baltimore, dude, I'm gonna lose my mind. So I've had a weird reaction to a Ravens draft pick one time in my life, and it was when we got J.K. Dobbins, and you can ask Bray, I had this experience, and I've never been looked at like a more what is wrong with this man than I did when Bray looked at me when we drafted J.K. Dobbins. And if we can get Kool-Aid to fall that far, I'm excited about that. We'll go to Seattle, and then they're drafting a guard out of Washington, Troy Fatunanu.
Dude's a bowling ball.
And big dude. The national championship, he wasn't – I'm not saying he stopped Michigan because I think after a while it was just like, oh, fuck, all right, what are we supposed to do with this?
Let's get out of here.
But he did well when he was supposed to. And I think it just kind of, after a while, you're like, all right, what the fuck are we supposed to do? What do you think about that pick?
I mean, I think it's a good fit. Washington to Seattle, like, he doesn't have to go far. Like, I don't know where he's from originally, but if you're going to school there and now you play there, like, it's not much of like a, fuck, where do I go to eat? What is this? Like, I'm pretty sure Washington is in or near Seattle. Yeah. So you're already right there. Like, I feel like that's a good fit for an offensive line. Like, he can just stay there, work out, get better. It's not like, oh, I'm going to New England. Like, where am I going to go to eat? Now, like, all this shit, because offensive linemen, they're fat. They need to eat. I feel like that's a good thing. If you already know where to eat.
They're big.
Big bone.
Yeah.
You already know where to eat.
And they're Samoan, dude. So, look, the Samoans don't fucking play about food, okay? I know a couple, and they are not. They know where the fuck to go. They know what's good. They know what's not good.
Yeah. Why make them go find new places?
Let's go to 17 Jacksonville Jaguars. Finally, they take a white, or not they take a white, but the white corner comes off the board. That sounded a little racist. Fuck.
Like the other four quarterbacks we were talking about.
So Cooper. Who cares about that? I don't want a skill position white guy. That's what I'm about.
Skilled white.
Hey, that's a white, but he's skilled. Okay, he's fucking skilled. That's fucking good. But the Jacksonville Jaguars, that's where Mel has him going. To the Jaguars at 17. We've already talked about Cooper DeJean. Do you think if the Jaguars get him, is that a steal at 17 or what? What are we thinking there?
I think it's good. I feel like the Jaguars surprisingly do well with their corners, at least in recent memory. Like, they've always had a good duo. Now, do they keep them? No.
Well, they traded C.J. Henderson to the Panthers.
Yeah, but he wasn't originally. Was he originally drafted by the Jaguars?
The Jaguars, yeah, from out of Florida. Mm-hmm.
That's true, but they gave up on him like almost instantly. So they knew it though. So they got an eye for corners though. They like after his rookie year, they're like, "You're fucking gone."
Yeah.
But
But they just signed Ronald Darby, and Tyson Campbell is kind of still one of those weird, like he's okay, but he's not great.
But he also could be elite.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying though. I think if you put him as the number 3 corner, you're like, all right, hey, now we're cooking.
Yeah.
But is Cooper DeJean going to go straight to your number 1 corner over Ronald Darby?
But he could play nickel, like we were saying. Like he could do just about anything. Like white guy, he's a football player.
He's a football player.
Put him at linebacker if you need him to. Like I don't know. I feel like it'd be a steal if you have depth at corner. No team has depth at corner where, like, if your number 1 guy gets hurt, guess what? Next guy's getting targeted, and next thing you know, you're gonna have fucking footballs bouncing off his face mask into the wide receiver's hands. So
yeah, and then if Cooper gets that ball. That return mentality is fucking. Yeah. Come on.
That ball's not going to go through his hands to hit his face mask. First of all, I don't know why. Kendallville door. Yeah.
But at 18, the Bengals go defensive line here. I'm not excited about it, but I understand getting Byron Murphy from Texas, Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. Great. I think it's a great pick, but does Cincinnati not need a tackle? Huh?
You said Bengals?
Yeah.
They can't draft another guy on their D-line named Murphy.
Why not?
They got Murphy from Clemson last year. You can't have multiple Murphys. When you're a fan, like a casual fan, you're like, is that Murphy? And someone's like, yeah, which one? What the fuck do you mean which one? Murphy. Like, I feel like that's just a problem.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Casual. You got to think about these things.
If
it could be Murphy and Murphy Law Firm, though, that would be pretty sick.
Dude, Murphy and Murphy, I'd call them if I got a DUI.
We're booking your quarterback.
Yeah. I like I said, I think it's a great pick. I think the Bengals, with where they are at with that talent, I think they could afford to reach for a guard or a center type player for this pick. That's just me.
Joe.
At 18, protect Joe at all costs.
I know they got Trent Brown, right?
Yes.
Is that his name? And then Orlando Brown. So they have literally a ton at their tackles because they have the 2 heaviest offense tackles in the league now.
Yeah, but add another guy to help Joe, man.
You can have a strong foundation, but if that door blows wide open, interior.
And it's like it's funny because we talked about last year Joe Burrow not having an off season to really, because he got drafted COVID year. Next year that appendix that sucks. Then this year his calf was kind of fucking with him, but they were like, "Hey, you're still gonna play. I don't give a fuck." Well, Joe said, "I'm gonna play. I don't give a fuck." And I think this year, like, hey, now that he is gonna have this off season, let's still protect him again at all costs. He got us to a fucking Super Bowl, man.
Build from the trenches. You already have the skill positions there. Just build at the trenches.
You think they lose T. Higgins though after next year, or do they find a way to pay him?
I don't see how they could pay Joe, T, and fucking yeah. And then also on defense, they have a few good players that are going to be getting contracts soon too. So it's like
they let go of Jesse Bates.
Yeah, but then Dax Hill, I think this is going to be his 3rd year.
Yeah, but
you're going to have to pay him next
player
year.
Options
Yeah, but that still costs money.
Yeah,
like I mean, I guess look at the Saints. I guess money doesn't matter. Somehow they're negative $400 million. They can sign a guy to a $13 million contract.
The cap is fake. Get into that conversation. All right. So the Rams, and this is another quarterback pick where I think they take a quarterback. Mel has them taken. And again, another Samoan that I can't say his name. Latu, outside linebacker from UCLA. I've seen some mocks where the Ravens get him. I've seen some film on the guy. I like him, but the Rams take him here. I mean, you lose Aaron Donald, maybe get another defensive tackle. But if Byron Murphy's gone, if the Bengals do take him, that's where you're at. This is the Rams' first round pick in a hot minute.
And that's what the second outside defensive lineman or DN linebacker.
Yeah, right? After Dallas Turner from Atlanta. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Chop Robinson has to be the pick. If you're going,
he didn't declare he's going to play at Penn State next year.
Chop, after he went to the combine, and ran a 4.4.
I haven't seen him in any mocks. I've seen the other end. I can't remember his name. I've seen the other end go over him in a lot of mocks.
There's no
so
way.
That's why I'm thinking he didn't declare. I didn't watch the pro day as much as I did last year, or not pro day, excuse me, the combine as much as I did last year.
No, he's taken visits he just visited the Cardinals recently. But I feel like he's the biggest, most athletic defensive end by far, which
he only had 4 sacks.
Someone has to take him because of all the potential's there. If you can just get this guy to place his hands right, like, that's it.
Let me raise you another Penn State edge rusher. Now, he was a linebacker, Odafe Owe, for the Ravens. It took him a couple years to kind of, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. But if you're a guy who's 6'5", 6'6", almost 270, and you run a 4.40, like when Jadeveon Clowney did that, obviously much better college career, but everyone was like, this guy shouldn't exist. But now we're just like overlooking, like, oh, he's 270, ran a 4.4.
So you think Chop will be a steal wherever he goes?
I believe so. If he goes to the right place, like if whatever reason he's dropping and he doesn't have like the technique or something, but if he goes to the Cardinals where they just kind of fucking suck, like he's just going to die in the desert, basically.
And I'm with you. I do think, like I said, I've seen a little bit of film, and the film that I have seen, he's good. He's really good. Well, quickness with the hands, and I think this is the most overlooked thing, and this is why I think film is so beautiful, where he's not getting the sacks because Chop is taking a lot of them, but he's putting that pressure with the tackle. Like, he's not getting past that block, but putting that pressure with the tackle going backwards, I think is overlooked. And I think that needs to maybe be a stat. It is, but it's not exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, he destroyed Michigan and made us he was one of the main reason why we had to run the ball 30-some times in a row was that guy alone.
Matt, you got time for the next 12 picks, or are you trying to hurry?
I can do whatever you want.
All right. So the Pittsburgh Steelers go ahead and get Graham Barton, the center guard from Duke. He's played center as a freshman, but then the last 3 seasons he was playing left tackle. So they're thinking he's an interior guy for Pittsburgh, and I think the same thing. Pittsburgh they're going to do what they do, and I think Pittsburgh, honestly, it doesn't matter the name or the pick. Whoever they get is going to do really well in Pittsburgh because that's what Pittsburgh does.
Yeah, especially at the offensive line. When they draft offensive linemen, that's when, oh, yeah, of course this guy's an all-pro, Pro Bowler, but I feel like it's all these free agent guys they get, and like they don't buy in, and they just fucking, they're just like a revolving door, and they just give a bunch of sacks. But they draft a guy, they develop a guy, and it's just like, oh, of course, yeah. Why didn't we think that this 6'7", 330-pound guy from Army was not going to be good? Like, what the like? Where did you even get this guy?
And I've seen a lot because I'm in a lot of AFC North fucking things, and it's like Mike Tomlin can't develop an offensive line, and I think it's the opposite, and it's exactly what you just said. I think he can develop one, but it's those weird free agents that make it seem like they're not getting a full unit of offensive linemen out there.
Because in the past, it was DeCastro, Pouncey. I'm trying to think of the other guy. That was like those 3 guys that were really good, but it was the 2 other guys that they just kind of brought in. There was like just giving everything up, and there's like we've got 3 other all pros here, arguably the best of their position, and this fucking idiot who should be working at Kinko's is fucking it up for us. Like, they just couldn't ever put them all together.
The Flozell Adams of the world getting the most the most false starts ever by like a lot. It's by a lot. It's not even by a little. The Dolphins go ahead and get Jared Verse, the defensive end from Florida State. Great pick here, I think. But I also think the Dolphins need a little bit more help. Their secondary, we think that the secondary is good on paper, but I don't think it is. I think maybe you get a corner here. Again,
they just cut Xavier Howard, who just led the league in picks 2 years ago.
Yeah, but I think in that division with Josh Allen, you make it to where he has to throw, and I think you win if you make Josh Allen have to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles, here we go. This is exactly what they need. Nate Wiggins, cornerback from
Bulldog.
Clemson. What?
I just said Georgia Bulldog.
Nope. Going Clemson Tiger here.
No.
I think it's a great pick. I think this is what Philly needs. We had that Christian actually asked us in the group chat, what secondary you're taking. And I think Dallas, the secondary, I'm taking them last from that division. And I like the pick by the Eagles here.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. Darius Slay's not going to do it forever. And Bradbury's getting exposed like he did on his previous 18 teams. He just had Darius Slay and had a great season and got a bag. Darius Slay should tax him on that.
Let me just say, nobody's against anybody getting a bag. Hey, get what you got to get.
Hey, yeah, but Darius Slay should collect a little bit off the top.
A little tax.
You weren't doing that before you came to me. He had that one season with the Giants, and who was the other corner they drafted? Was it Adoree Jackson? No.
Yes, from USC.
Yeah, so he had the one good year at the Giants because they had the rookie, and then he fucking sucked again, and then he went to the Eagles. Oh, all-pro, big play Slay. Shit, I can just take down this number 2. Hasn't done shit ever. Like,
now we're back to the Chargers. This is where the Minnesota trade comes through. They get Xavier Worthy, a fucking flyer of the ball.
And Jim doesn't miss out on Xavier a second time.
Was he trying to get him to Michigan?
He was committed to Michigan all the way up forever. And then something with the academics in like the not even football related or Jim Harbaugh. It was something like the admissions of Michigan where he's like, all right, not going there. I'm going to go to Texas. Like an easier, like he didn't do good in high school, basically.
Oh,
something like that. And like he was committed to Michigan and then Jim couldn't pull enough strings, I guess, to get him on the team. And he's like, all right, I'll go to fucking Texas. And then Michigan fans were just watching him just as soon as he stepped on the field.
I also think it's a great pick. Now, to the Dallas Cowboys at 24, taking Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma. Great pick.
Yep. No, that's a good offensive tackle.
Perfect pick. Tyron Smith is out. Guyton's right in. Bada boom.
Oklahoma.
I'm a big fan of we lost this guy. We just plugged a new guy.
Yeah, don't let it just like the water seep in from that. Like address it right away because that was a strength. Just go ahead and do it again.
Just because they got Tyler Smith last year. They reached for him the Tulsa tackle, and he's been doing well. I mean, yes, he's penalized a lot, but I think you can be penalized and still be good. I don't think that's necessarily a negative. You know what I'm saying? But then we go to 25, Green Bay Packers. Again, they're not going to help Jordan Love out, and they're going to get Amarius Mims, the offensive tackle from Georgia.
I really don't think they need to help Jordan Love. I feel like they drafted so many second-round wide receivers for Aaron Rodgers that now they're starting to develop. Like they're pretty good. It's better than just one guy, Devontae Adams. Now they have 3 decent guys. Maybe not a true number 1, but they have 3. And if you can protect him, one of them will get open eventually. And it's not going to be like, oh, Devontae's open. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Like instantly, Devontae would get open instantly. Whereas now you have guys who can get open at all different lengths. You have fast guys. You got big guys. Like they have a good mix of who they drafted. They just need the time now. Where Love has legs where he can scramble, but if you don't have to make him scramble.
And here we go. This is my bad. This is for looking out. Tampa Bay at 26 takes Chop Robinson, the outside linebacker for Penn State. Matt, you've already talked your piece on it. I just think Tampa might need to get another wide receiver. And again, this wide receiver draft is so deep. I would get another wide receiver just to maybe replace Mike Evans. I'm sure you like the pick.
Yeah, I like the pick.
All right. But again, and Tampa, their pass defense hasn't been great since Tom Brady left. I think Kool-Aid is still sitting here for the taking. Go ahead and take him. 27, Arizona, taking Darius Robinson, the defensive lineman from Missouri. After they just got Marvin Harrison Jr. in the first round, is this a good first round for Arizona?
I think so. I would like the Lions to take him because he's from Michigan, and there's like photos of him at like old Lions training camps. But
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Why did he not go to Michigan? He went to Missouri.
No idea. I don't think he was a big recruit. I think he was like a 3-star maybe. So they just kind of get in the wash of everything.
I gotcha. Okay. The Buffalo Bills take Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver from LSU. Now he's the number 2 wide receiver to Malik Nabers. If you're Buffalo, you need a wide receiver because you just lost both your number 1 and number 2 guys. I like excuse me, what's his name? Excuse me. Ashir. It's like Ashik Asir or whoever from Boise State, the wide receiver from Boise State, who's really good. I think he's fine. I would get a different receiver here. I don't know who I would take. Maybe Adon Mitchell from Texas, but he was another number 2 receiver. It's like now you're
like he's very similar to the guy from LSU, though. They're both big body, fast guys.
No, and I get it, but also if fucking Jordan Travis is here or Keenan Coleman is here, if I'm taking a receiver, that's who I want to get if I'm Buffalo. But I understand what they're doing. Now number 29, Detroit Lions. I'm going to ask you who they're going to take.
Well, I don't know who's available, but I would like them to take. Obviously, I think Kool-Aid's still there. I want them to take a corner. We need 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 probably about 14 corners.
Okay.
We need a corner. Like that was if we had a fucking semi-decent corner, we win that game versus the 49ers. Like if that fucking play, the ball goes through his hands, off the face mask, back through his hands. Like if that doesn't happen, we win the game. Because now they're like, oh shit. The world, like the universe wants us to win. You didn't see that? That should never have ever happened. Now I'm going to give everything I have because the universe already told me we're about to win if we just do what we're supposed to. If we're just in the right spot at the right time, we're going to win.
How bonkers would you have went if you guys went to the NFC title game?
We did. You mean the Super Bowl?
Yes.
I would have fucking shit myself. I've seen the Lions and the Super Bowl logo.
Sorry, if you guys won the NFC title game, yes.
Oh, dude, if I would have just seen graphics of like, here's your Super Bowl matchup, and it's fucking Super Bowl logo in the middle, that's all I dream about. I don't even give a fuck if we win. Just seeing myself in that situation where I could, like, when Michigan went to the national, like, until I seen we were playing Washington, I was like, all right, we're going to win that game. But if it was any other team, I'd be like, this is awesome. I get to experience this. Like, win or lose, this is awesome. But then I was like, all right, we're beating the fuck out of these idiots, right? But, like, the NFL, that's not going to happen. So I was just like, seeing that, like, that would make my life because all I've seen is losing. Other than when I was a kid, the Pistons, the Red Wings, the Tigers were pretty good. But, like, my favorite sport, we always sucked at. Football for college and professional. So I've knocked one off my list. So
I gotcha. Hey, you got one more left. That's the thing, though. You got one more left. That's it. But Mel has you guys taking Adonai Mitchell, the wide receiver from Texas. I don't know why y'all would get another wide receiver. That'd be stupid. Mel's.
Fucking keep the offensive firepower. Just keep your foot on the gas pedal. Like I see that. Like, hey, we just lost Josh Reynolds. Fuck him. He fucking dropped some key passes. Now we're going to get a young athletic guy, but it's like, I don't know. We don't really need to, but if we can be greedy and just have the best offense again and not pay any one of these guys all on rookie contracts.
Absolutely. I'm with you 100%. But the only reason I'm with you 100% is because now Mel has the Ravens at number 30 taking Kool-Aid, and I'm fucking, like I said.
This isn't Mel. You made this.
No, I'm reading it right off ESPN Plus. Thank God for Hulu because that's the only reason I would pay for ESPN Plus.
The only reason I have Hulu is because I have ESPN Plus.
Oh, no shit. Okay. So, see, look at that. It's the opposite.
I can watch hockey. They put a lot of hockey games on ESPN Plus.
Dude, they do. Hulu is just full of
It's just about every hockey game you can watch, basically, which is pretty crazy. Not every, but.
And we're on the Ravens pick, so it's going to upset me. But the hockey announcing, if it's not on ESPN and it's not Emily Kaplan and fucking whoever the guy is that does it with her, I don't fucking care. Like it's so.
The Red Wings have the best announcers, though.
Do what?
The Red Wings have the best announcers for hockey. Mickey Redmond is this old like Canadian dude. the fucking greatest dude.
All right, so now I gotta watch me a Red Wings playoff game. But Mel has the fucking Ravens getting Kool-Aid McKinstry, and again, I would be so excited. 6 feet, 199. It doesn't matter. I don't think that matters. I think playing in the SEC does matter as a corner, and I would be thrilled if the Ravens got him. Now the San Francisco 49ers get Roger Garnington from Washington. I don't even know who the fuck that is. I didn't know he was a fucking guy because he was getting worked in the national championship. So I don't think it fucking matters. So that's who they get.
Yeah.
And then the Chiefs get Xavier Leggett, the wide receiver from South Carolina. I think this is not, again, the draft is so deep with wide receiver and offensive line talent that I think that's not a reach. But I think in any other draft, we would say this is a reach. But the Chiefs, holy shit. As I've never seen a Super Bowl champion where you're like, oh, they need this. And they need a fucking wide receiver bad.
He's got, well, especially whatever happens with Rashee Rice.
Update real fast. He has a warrant out for his arrest in Dallas, Texas. I don't know how that works.
He almost kind of admitted it without admitting it the other day. I don't know if you've seen that statement he released where he's like, I take full responsibility and will cooperate with anything. But it's like, he didn't really say he did it, but it was like, I take full responsibility.
Well, I think because it'll also be his first offense, it'll probably be like fucking 10 hours of community service and some other shit.
Yeah, like no one got hurt. It was just like the dumbest fucking shit.
Yeah, it was just dumb. Like you were just, it is like if a crime could say like, oh, you were just being an idiot, that would be the crime. Like that would.
You're lucky no one got hurt, and you're fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Leggett, or however you say his name, that guy's got the craziest accent. Have you watched the interviews with that guy?
It's awesome. I like it.
It's so crazy.
It's
like Australian Southern. I don't even know how.
It's so, because I'll never forget as a little kid, because being from Dallas, like I never met a black guy with a country accent, and I heard Randy Moss say something. And I'm like, can he talk like that? Like what? I didn't know you could have that accent. And then it's like watching my ESPN, all this, you're like, hey, Carissa, let me tell you something. And you're like,
no, okay, growing up, how Leggett talks is like from Michigan. Like that's how I thought everyone talked in the South. So I got to the South, and then I realized everyone does kind of talk like that. But then I got like, desensitized to it. Yeah. But then once I heard his, I was like, that's what I used to think that everyone sounded like. But then like when I first moved to the South, like everyone did sound like that for a while, and then I got used to it. And then I heard that, and I was like, that's it. That's the South to me.
Did you really think that?
Yeah, I really thought that. I had a friend, he used to live across the street from me, and then he moved to, like, Baton Rouge for a few years, and he came back, and I thought he was going to talk like that, and he didn't. He's like, they don't talk like that. And I was like, you're a liar.
Well, all right, man. We definitely used as much time as we could on this show, just you and I. It's always bittersweet. It's like a weird thing, and I told Tonio this on our last 1-on-1 show, where it's like it's so much fun having everybody on, but there's like a little nice sweet thing where it's you and one other person, to where it's like it's really like personalized. And this has been a great show, man. I really appreciate you being on, man. You got anything to say to the fans?
You guys smell like shit.
True that. Tonio's off helping the world in California. Chris is just taking a day off because
California.
Yeah, he's in California. Chris is just gay, so he's not here. And then Christian has a real job. What a fucking loser!
He hasn't got fired yet, which is surprising.
I'm also shocked, but hey, we appreciate you guys sitting your time with us, man. Thanks. I'll put out some reels and all some other stupid shit, but yeah, thanks for listening, man.